Hola chicos, en este video vamos a continuar con las comparaciones. Hoy vamos a hablar de superlativos, que quiere decir superlatives in inglés. It's a big word, it's kind of a fancy word. It just means we're talking about really the most and the least. We've compared saying, Brian is smarter than Mike, Brian es más inteligente que Mike. And now we're saying we want to say like Brian is the most intelligent or the smartest in the class. In English, we have this EST, tallest, shortest, smartest, etc. In Spanish, we don't really have that, so we have to use these. So básicamente, last time I gave you guys a formula, this is more vocab. These, all of these, el más, la más, los más, and las más means really the most. But it's really translated in English oftentimes this EST that we have that we put on the end of adjectives. And these ones with menos, el menos, la menos, los menos, and las menos all mean the least. So if you say, the least intelligent or the least whatever you want to say, and this is oftentimes, it's not really EST that often because we're going to say the least, but you can use EST like in a negative way, and we'll talk about that a little later. So it's important to understand masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. We have to make sure that we're using these the right way when we talk about different people. This is really a stumbling block in Spanish that causes people a lot of problems. So, vamos a empezar con algunos ejemplos. So, aquí tenemos los personajes de Family Guy, right? Tenemos Brian, Lois, Peter, Meg, Chrissy, Stewie. And we have some adjetivos, some adjectives. So over here, we have alto, bajo, gordo, inteligente, loco, aburrido, cómico. And at this point, we can say things like Lois es más inteligente, right, que Peter. We know how to do these comparisons. This is our little más que formula. This is a comparison. So how would we say, for example, if we want to say that Lois is the smartest person? Well, going back here, we look at our formula. How do we say the most or the smartest? It's going to be these ones. And the one we're going to use, because she's a woman, is la más. So we'd simply say Lois es la más inteligente, which means she is the smartest or she is the most intelligent. Now, what if we want to say who is the least intelligent? Well, we're going to go to Peter here, in my opinion. So we go to Peter es el menos inteligente. Okay, so now we have a representation of both singular and plural. I'm sorry, not singular and plural, both masculine and feminine. Lois, who's a woman, la más. Peter, who's a man, el menos. ¿Verdad? So here we have the most intelligent, here we have the least intelligent. Okay? So, vamos a hacer algunos ejemplos con los plurales. Let's talk about these two, Brian y Stewie. ¿Y qué podemos decir de Brian y Stewie? So let's come up with a sentence. Brian y Stewie son, right, because now it's plural, los más, and then let's look over here. Which one might we use as I'm looking at this list? Loco kind of strikes me as a good example. Brian es un perro que puede hablar y Stewie es un bebé que puede hablar, so I would say crazy is the one that works. Brian and Stewie, both guys, both masculine. Brian y Stewie son los más locos, right, de la familia, which means they are the craziest. Okay? Vamos a pasar a los otros hermanos en la familia, Meg y Chris. ¿Qué podemos decir de Meg y Chris? Vamos a mirar nuestros adjetivos. I would say the adjective that comes out to me more than anything is aburrido, que quiere decir boring. So podemos decir Meg y Chris son los más aburridos. ¿Verdad? They're the most boring. So now we have, again, plural, and again, los, because we're talking about a girl and a guy. Let's see what happens when we do two women. So let's talk about Lois y Meg. So tenemos Lois y Meg, and we're going to say they're the least. They're the least. I think if I look down this list, cómico might be a good one. They're the least funny. Son las menos cómicas. ¿Verdad? So tenemos aquí un ejemplo de la femenina y el plural. So feminine plural. So they are the, and then we have least. Look at cómicas. It's got to change. It's feminine and it's also plural. Okay? So quick lesson here, less than 5 minutes. I'd like you guys to do something with this. Here's what I'd like you guys to do. I'd like you to think of an adjective, All right, now I would like you to tell me yourself and the family. What are you the most? For example, are you the tallest? Are you the shortest? Or are you the smartest? Are you the most handsome? I mean, there's all kinds of examples. I'd like you to use a superlative, and I'd like you guys to use both the positive, so I want you to say the most, or the EST, for example, and then I want you to say a negative, so the least. So you might say, I am the tallest person in my family, but I am the least, athletic, whatever it is that you want to put. So I'm looking for 2 sentences. I want you guys to go ahead and submit it using the turn in button on this assignment that this is attached to. The directions are not on purpose. They are not listed in the actual directions above the screencast on Edmodo because I want to make sure that you guys are paying attention to the screencast when you're doing this. So once again, tell me 2 things about yourself, what you're the most in comparison to your family and what you're the least. And if you have trouble with those instructions, just go back and listen to it again. Muchas gracias por su atención. Be ready in class for this to deal with this next time, either in a screencast or in an activity. Y nos vemos en la próxima clase. Nos vemos. Hasta luego. If it's Thursday and you're looking at this, happy Halloween. Ciao.